Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to learn more about lease options. Lease options is a fabulous strategy. ABC, just like wholesaling, but with a few tweaks to allow you to make money up front, in the middle, and at the end. So there's a 3 profitability option for you in this. What's really cool is you can approach this very similarly as to how you would approach wholesaling. We're gonna go after motivated sellers exactly the same way. So that's that A portion, as that we would for wholesaling. We wanna go make many offers off the MLS if we need to, but for the most part with the lease optioning, we're gonna be going after those for sale by owners that we were talking about. So again, these are gonna be the same people, except for instead of making a low cash offer in this circumstance, what we're gonna be doing is we're going to be offering to buy the house on terms. And what terms mean is we're going to have an extended period of time that we actually have to take possession of the house. And I'm going to get into the details of this just a little bit. Now, we're going to be still that savvy investor in the middle, but the part C is not going to be a cash buyer this time. This time they're going to be a tenant buyer. And a tenant buyer is usually somebody who's not in a position to buy a house right now because of some sort of life circumstances, something that maybe happened with the downturn of the market, a loss of job, some health issues, a divorce, something that's kind of damaged their credit, so it's kind of made it difficult for them to get into that home ownership that everybody wants in today's market. So what we're doing is we're actually helping these people that are good people that just had some sort of bump in the road get back in the game and get back on their feet. So different ways that we can market to these people are offering to advertise to buy houses, to give them houses rent to own or lease option houses. Now rent to own is the most common way to advertise these houses. So what I usually do is I market it saying, buy a house, rent to own. Give yourself time to improve your credit while you live in the home of your dreams. Something that's going to be a bit of a carrot to bring these people in. And there's several more examples in the book that you can reference for how I advertise to tenant buyers. So now that I have the parties laid out, I want you to really think about how you can go about making this deal happen. The big keys that you need to do is it all comes down to negotiating the terms that make this deal work. Things to keep in mind is when you're working with that motivated seller, you want to give yourself as much time as possible and keep the prices down as low as possible as well, okay? So we want a low option price. The option is the option to buy the house at the end of the term. A long term for that option. And then we want a lease, which is also going to be hopefully a low payment, but we want to make sure the payment is good enough to make sure we cover those expenses, which is the mortgage, taxes, and insurance, which are things we want to make sure are still being paid. Now we're going to negotiate the exact same things with our tenant buyer, but these things we're going to negotiate. We're going to negotiate, again, an end purchase price and a down payment option, as we mentioned before, but we want these to be higher. Okay, we want these to be higher, for surely higher than what we're paying the seller, so we can make that money on the spread. And the same thing with the lease term. We want the lease term to actually be shorter because we can't have the tenant buyer going longer than our agreement with that seller. So we want to make sure we negotiate these terms, and the difference between what we're paying both parties is what our profits will be along the way. And I have a great example in the book, so please check that out. Thank you again, and remember, now is your time to profit.